And good morning. This is Thomas Grant, and obviously you're looking at my little miniature Cincinnati Reds display here. So you have something to look at other than a black screen because I don't like to show my face. I thought I would take this chance to answer a few questions that I have been asked a lot lately. Number one, are you just stirring the pot? Why are you doing this? You're making the community, look bad or feel bad. And I want to make it clear, I'm not doing this because I don't like the Indian Lake region. I think the motivation for me back when this first started, before the tornado, with the teacher at the school in Bellefontaine that was texting girls through Snapchat. And the issue there was people were trying to hold the school accountable for not taking action quick and protecting our students, which to me would be the first priority of any school. So that was the beginning. It was not anything negative with intention. It was just something needs to be done. There's a problem, and the public needs to be aware to put pressure on those that are in positions to do something, to actually do something. And that was what started me down this path of covering more, current day situations, current day news, so to speak, whatever you want to call it, versus the true crime. That's what I was really doing for the entire time I did this, until the Bellefontaine Middle School Snapchat drama. And we were able to help get that story out into the public. A while later, it was picked up by local news media, and the teacher was eventually, he quit his job and no longer worked there. So, what needed to be done for these parents was accomplished. It was not because of me. It was because that the public pressure made people take action. And that's how I'm looking into this. The first thing I learned about Lakeview was the firefighters resigning, and why is this happening? So I'm not just going to, read about it or ask one or two people. I want to find out what's really happening, because I think it's important that the public know the truth. And, when they fired the chief, forced him to retire early, I felt like his story needed to be told. I had no idea where the story was going to go. I didn't know that it was going to involve a new mayor and eventually morph into what we have now, which is an ongoing, recall effort to get the mayor out of her position. Now, I don't live in Lakeview. I'm just helping people tell their stories. I'm not stirring the pot. Stirring the pot would be people knowingly spreading false information just to get people angry. That's definitely not what I'm doing. There's a lot of stories out there that people want to tell, and they feel like they have nowhere they can tell those stories, or they're afraid if they do, they're gonna get in trouble. There's gonna be pushback. There's gonna be negative consequences to them speaking out. So if I can be that middle ground and say, look, if you don't feel like it's safe or good for you, and when I say safe, I don't mean, they're gonna get murdered. I'm not saying that. But if you're a business owner and you speak out about something you don't like, well, now you are, dividing your pool of prospective customers. Because let's say if you speak out against, a story I heard, I don't know if it's true, but it's perfect for the business person mentality. Michael Jordan was asked, why do you not take stances on political, issues? And Michael Jordan said, because Republicans and Democrats buy my tennis shoes. And that makes perfect sense. You don't want to divide your clientele in half because you're publicly making statements that half the people might support and the other half may not. Business is simple. You want as many, as many people, as many feet in your door as possible, as many eyeballs, either looking for the services you provide or looking at the items you sell. You want as many feet in your door and eyeballs looking at whatever it is you have to give the public, for your business. So I get it. So if these businesses feel more comfortable talking to me or someone like me off the record or privately to get the information out there, there's nothing wrong with that. I understand that. And that's kind of what this is morphed into. And that's perfectly fine. And I think these stories need to be told. The Indian Lake Chamber of Commerce, that's definitely, I barely heard of that place because I'm not a business owner. During the issues with the weeds up at the lake, I did hear the name Amber Fagan on a few different occasions concerning what they were doing to clean up the lake, but she was not on my radar. But looking at everything that's happened since the tornado has brought a lot of people out, so to speak, at least to me, and people like me, saying there's a problem here and it needs to be fixed. And that's why I'm not looking into the chamber to be hateful or negative. But if there's negative things happening within the chamber or with the chamber leadership, I would think the businesses at the lake would like to know that. And I'm not just poking around because I'm bored. Other businesses have reached out to me, and other residents of that area have reached out to me and said, there's a problem here. We need to expose what's going on. And that's where I come into play. Okay, then let's tell those stories. So I'm not just stirring the pot to stir the pot. I want that, that's why I'm doing this. And secondly, I think, when you go after these people, when you're looking into these things, people are going to get angry. The people you're looking at, they're not going to like you, and they may want to come after you personally and make the attack on you as a person, not the message you're trying to get across. Because I've gotten a lot of pushback here lately from people complaining about the fact that I don't use my real name. And there's a reason why I do that. And that's, and I will continue to do that. And if you don't like that or respect that, that's fine. I'm not making you listen to me. And I don't mean that negatively. I'm just saying I'm not going to be out there with my identity. Because, like I said in the post before, if you work for a newspaper or, a news website, that company you work for, they're going to take care of your legal issues for you. I'm just an independent guy, so if someone comes after me, it's going to be up to me to take care of it. So that's issue number one. Issue number two, people will silence the messenger to quiet the message. If the message is something you don't want to hear, then you're going to go after the person spreading the message and try to shut them down. Even if that means trying to have them sued for, whatever, you get a cease and desist letter saying you can't talk about these people anymore. Well, to be blunt, they don't know who I am. So how can they serve me papers when they don't know my legal name? The people who do know who I am, they can say what they want, but I will never admit who I am through anything I do on this page or through YouTube. Because even if someone says, I know who Thomas Grant is, that's a rumor and it can't be proven. So they can't serve legal documents for me to stop talking if they don't know who I am. I do that so people who want to get their stories out can, without being the ones getting sued, to be quiet. Because I think we all know, the chamber at the lake and Miss Fagan has a long history of silencing people with threats of lawsuits. Now, we did a post the other day about Miss Fagan, and the gist of it was she's having businesses, almost, requiring them, which the way it was explained to us was blackmail. If you want this $5,000 grant for recovery, you have to join the chamber. If you join the chamber, your odds of getting that grant will be much higher. That's not what the grant is for, okay? And for her, if that's true, that's not acceptable. Now, we've also heard off the record that the chamber board is aware of this. And this was reported to them in a meeting within the last few weeks. This is not rumor. I can factually say 100% what we posted and what other people have posted about, the blackmail, quote unquote, you buy a membership, you're going to get that $5,000 grant type of a deal. That's not a rumor. It's verified. It was reported to the board of the Indian Lake Chamber. And from how we understand it, they have a few more weeks to conclude their quote unquote investigation. And we will wait and see if anything happens. And we do have more information about Amber and the chamber that we're still working on. I am still working on getting more information from people and confirming everything I can confirm. And I will say, when we make the post next week about these issues, I'm going to give you guys, the public, everything I can possibly give you that I have received. So you can see the same information and data that I have. So you don't think it's I'm just attacking this woman because I don't like her. I don't know her. I don't care. I have no pony in that race up there. But if she's not acting professionally, if she's not acting in a way that is representing those businesses up there in an effective way, and in a respectful way, then, the business community and the public should know that. So, and then with the $5,000 grant, you can't require businesses to join your chamber to get that money. Come on. They have a little bit of influence. I think the Indian Lake Chamber and Logan County Chamber, they're kind of in charge of the distribution. The money is coming from the state chamber. So let's get that clear. That money that's being given out, that is not coming from the Indian Lake Chamber of Commerce. That is coming from the State Chamber of Commerce. Indian Lake and Logan County chambers are only working at who is going to get the money. They're working on the distribution side of it. But let's be clear, the money is coming from the state chamber. And lastly, I want to make this also clear. I've had people talk about, these businesses took the money even though they didn't get damages to their business, and people that are following my page or, attacking those businesses. I want to make it very clear. I'm not saying what those businesses did were wrong. The money is available. You file for the grant, you get the grant. And I understand the Chamber of Commerce is not there to provide support to individuals. I get that. And if you read the post, at least the way I intended it, what I was highlighting was they're giving a lot of resources to these businesses. Some businesses that don't even have damage. Where's the resources and money for people who don't have a home? And I think it's a bad look. Because if you take off your businessman hat, businesswoman hat, and you step back and pretend for a moment that you lost your home in the tornado and you still haven't gotten anything as far as a permanent solution, and you're struggling, and then you see, in the newspaper or on social media that businesses without damage got $5,000, and I'm sitting here in a home with no power, no water, barely a roof over my head, and they're giving businesses $5,000 who did not suffer any damage. Yes, that's frustrating. No, I don't think it's right. I think state and local government agencies need to focus all of their attention right now at getting the public back on their feet, getting them temporary housing leading into permanent housing. That needs to be step number one. Because I don't care what business you have, if there's not a public available to purchase your goods or services, you're not going to make any money. Now, once these people, in my opinion, once the people who need immediate help with housing, transportation, stuff like that, once they're taken care of, then of course let's all these other organizations can come in and spread money around to businesses as much as they want. Absolutely. So again, I'm not saying what the chamber is offering, the state chamber is offering the businesses up here is a bad thing. I'm just saying all of these state and local agencies and organizations, they need to focus all of their energy on getting these people that are living in unsafe, unsatisfactory conditions somewhere else. And it cannot be just the United Way, right? They do have a limited source of money and they have to distribute that. I get it. So that's where the state and local companies and government agencies need to pool their resources and help these people in concert with what the United Way is doing. I think a lot of people think, well, the United Way's got that taken care of, so we're good. Let's move on to something else. No, focus on getting people whole again. If they didn't have insurance, we get that. A lot of people could not get insurance. Their properties were uninsurable because they're older. They had to get, put money into the home to fix up their homes to get them insurable. And a lot of insurance on mobile homes were not available because of the location of where the trailer home was at, or the age of the trailer. There's so many different factors. Getting insurance for a trailer is not easy or cheap. It's very expensive. I just was looking up, data last night, and insurance on property insurance has went up. I think it's at 38% in the last 18 months. And they said since, this increase in cost, 7 to 9% of people who carried insurance, property insurance, either homeowners or renters or whatever, dropped their coverage because they couldn't afford it. So there's a lot of other factors at play, So let's just work on getting people whole and making sure if people are living in unsatisfactory conditions, that they have the resources available to them to have at least temporary housing for now, while working towards permanent housing solutions for these victims. So that's all I was saying about the chamber. I'm not attacking any business for getting the money. I do have one issue with the business that did not get the grant, even though they're in Logan County. The business owners lived up at the lake. Their home was severely damaged. They had to shut their business doors down for days, and they're continuing to have to limit their business operation hours to this day because they are working on getting their home repaired. And they were told they don't qualify for this grant. I did reach out to the president of the Logan County Chamber asking why not. And the response I got was pretty much, this is only for Indian Lake businesses. I'm sorry. This business in Bellefontaine, the business owners lived at the lake. They're directly affected by the tornado. And that's why their business is not open. So why would they not qualify for this grant? It's ridiculous. That frustrates me. So, come on, seriously. I'm just right now. I'm angry just thinking about it because these people are struggling, trying to recover and rebuild, and there could possibly be $5,000 available to them, but the people in charge of distributing the grant saying, "Sorry, your business isn't at Indian Lake, so you don't qualify for the grant." That needs to be looked at again. It's not fair. People like these people. They're the reason why these grants were created and the money has been sent up here to help people like that, victims of the tornado who have lost revenue at their business related to the tornado. So we're going to continue to follow up with this Logan County Chamber guy and see if they can, go into a room and rethink it just a little bit to help every business that's been affected, not just businesses that are at the lake. Businesses all over this area were affected, but especially this one business in particular. It's not right. They lost revenue because of the tornado. Their business is in Logan County. Give them the grant money. Come on. Do they need to join the chamber to get it? I don't know. We'll see. But look into, next week should be an exciting week. Yesterday's interview with Amy at Lulu's at the lake was amazing and beautiful, and I'm so thankful that Amy talked with us. Please watch the interview. It's worth your time. There at the end, there was a story she told at the end that almost made me choke up a little bit. Very touching, very beautiful. But she's a wonderful lady, and that's a wonderful establishment. Support Lulu's at the lake. Everything they've done for your community and for the recovery efforts. My God, I'm going to go up there and eat now. I am. She deserves my contribution. She deserves my patronage, because that's the kind of business owner that I will support no matter what. She cares. She gets it. So that's where we're at right now. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned next week. Probably not going to be very active this weekend. We have a lot of family stuff going on. So yes, pay attention next week. We got some exciting stuff coming out. And if you know any other people like Amy up at Lulu's, reach out to me, let me know. We need to share good, positive stories as well. That's just as important as everything else we're doing. So yes, thank you again. Have a good day, and please take care of yourself.